Remember this, it just got smaller. Hi everyone, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. As requested, we are making a small box for those tea packets or coffee packets or any packet. Stay tuned. Welcome, and thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. I appreciate your positive spirit and the positive way in which you engage with my channel, so thank you so much. In a previous video, and I will have this video linked, we made this beautiful large tea box. It contains tea and honey. So many of you really did like this box, but you wanted a smaller version. Now the smaller version is only designed to hold packets of tea or packets of coffee, depending on what it is you want to make. And this video will be linked in the description box below for those of you who are interested and you may have missed it. It will walk you through step by step how to make this larger box. So today we're going to make a smaller version of this box. I'm going to flip to my overhead camera to give you a closer look at exactly what I'm talking about. So here is the smaller version of the large box. When finished, it measures 4 by 4 and it's 1 inch deep. On the inside, I simply have teas. Now you can add whatever you want to yours, but I just made it so that it would hold some tea packets. So here are the two covers side by side, and you can see how small this is. I have tweaked everything so that we can get this smaller box. I've also tweaked it in the coffee box, so the coffee paper will be the same size as this one. So I'm just going to move these out of the way, and we'll go ahead and make this box the tea version of this box. Now this is paper that is available on my website. I will have that linked in the description box below. You'll get the coffee as well as the tea papers. So here's what we're going to need to make this project. Here is how the tea paper or the coffee paper will look. You'll have that image right here on the front, and then you'll have the background paper surrounding it. You'll only need to use this one sheet to get the outside jacket. And then I printed on the back side of mine this square, and it shows me exactly where to place that piece of chipboard so that it aligns with what is on the front. If you do decide to purchase the papers, you'll also get this piece so that you can run yours through your printer and have the same placement on the back so that you can print on the back of your paper and print this image. Then I have a piece of 8.5 by 11. This is for the inside liner. Of course, I'll be cutting that down. And then we'll have a piece of 8.5 by 11 for the box, and I will be cutting that down as well. So what we have here total, you're going to need 3 pieces of 8.5 by 11. Now I'm using the Red River 30 pound, I think it's 30 pound paper. I will have it linked in the description box below for those of you who are interested in the Red River paper. I love printing on this paper. It gives me beautiful images, and this 30 pound paper is very flexible to work with. It might be 30 pounds or 33. I can't remember the exact weight, but I will have it linked in the description box below. Then we're going to need some chipboard or some hardboard, whatever it is you like to work with when you want that stiffness in the box that you're making. So I still get this question a lot, so I'm going to show you how I cut one piece of chipboard. Now I have 2 blades for my trimmer in my hand. They're both the same cutting type blade. The only thing is this blade is a fresh blade. This one is a dull used blade, and I know that because I have marked it with permanent marker. And that is what I use to cut my chipboard when I'm cutting a couple of sheets and I don't feel like using my large electronic paper cutter. So I'm going to take this and we're going to slide it in. I'm going to cut this at 4, cut a strip at 4. And basically, I'm going to run it across. If you want, you can run it back again. Then you can see how that is. Now it's easy for me just to take my finger blade and go in with very minimal pressure and cut that chipboard. So now I'm going to take this piece and we're going to cut 2 pieces at 4 by 4. So we'll put it in on 4. I'll break the fibers again with that dull blade. And do it again. And then we're going to cut our 1-inch piece. So now I'm just going to, you can see how flexible that is. Just go in with my finger blade and separate my pieces. So now what I have are 2 pieces that are 4 by 4 and 1 piece that is 1 by 4. So these are our working pieces for the chipboard. I'm going to go ahead and apply some tape to the back of my chipboard, and I'll be right back so that we can place these down. Okay, so now I have the tape on all of my pieces. We're going to bring in this piece, and I'll flip it over because where I have this will tell me where I need to place my chipboard piece as well as these pieces. So once I have this piece down, I'll be able to go ahead and get these pieces laid down as well. So I'm going to peel away all of my tape backers and we're going to put these down. All right, so let's take this piece. I'm just going to place it down on top of that piece. Now I can take this piece and I'm going to place it next to it with about 1/8 of an inch in spacing in between. And I'll do the same thing here with about 1/8 of an inch in spacing in between. And then I'll flip it over. I'll go ahead and smooth this out. Now my daughter is working very hard to get these made. So if you're interested in pre-ordering your Posh Big Old Spatula, head on out to her website. That too is linked in the description box below. Big Old Spatula, bone folder, just head on out there. So I'm going to take my stylus, press it against the chipboard, and drive it into the paper. Now this paper does not have a tendency to crack, but if you do have a paper that has a tendency to crack, try doing this. Break those fibers just a little bit. It won't necessarily stop the cracking, but it might help to minimize it. So let's just go in between and do that. So now I'm going to take my finger blade and I want to remove some of this excess paper. And I'll do the same thing over here. We're just going to reduce the amount of fold over paper that we have to deal with. So now that we have pre-scored, we can just stand this up and fold over. Now I can take my finger blade and we're just going to miter these corners here. Now I'm going to take my tape runner and we're just going to add some tape and then we'll fold over. I can use my tape runner on this part because these fold over pieces will be sandwiched in between the chipboard and the inside liner. So I can take this, fold over, take this, fold over, and fold over. Let's get that nice and stuck. So now I'm going to bring in my trimmer so that I can figure out the sizing for my inside liner. So this is 9 1/4. I always reduce my inside liner by 1/4 of an inch. So I'll take that 9 1/4 and reduce it to 9. And then we know that this is 4 by 4. I will reduce it by 1/4 of an inch and we'll take it to 3 3/4. So 3 3/4 by 9 is what I will be cutting my inside liner piece. So I'll go ahead and cut out 3 3/4. And I should have changed my blade. Put my fresh blade back in. by 9. Anytime that you're not using a fresh blade, you might get rough edges on your paper. I have a little bit of roughness here, but I'm just going to leave it. So now I'm going to take my tape, and we're going to place some tape down on the jacket. We're going to cover the chipboard. So let's go ahead and just place that tape like this. Then I'm going to take some tape, and we're going to place tape around all 4 edges of the inside liner. Then we'll peel away those tape backers, and we will join the 2 pieces together. So now let's just go ahead and peel away our tape backers, and we'll join these 2 pieces together. And guys, remember, you don't have to have the papers that I'm using to make this project. You can use whatever papers you have in your stash. Just follow the size measurements that I have provided in the video. So I am going to take this piece, and we're going to place it down like that. And I am just going to use my big old spatula to get everything nice and stuck. Then I'll work my spine by folding in, and we'll make sure we have that nice and crisp. I'll turn it around this way, and we'll do the same thing on this side. We're just going to go in, make sure that we have our spine scores nice and flat so that when we look at it like this, you don't see any paper puckering on this side or on this side. And if you did have paper puckering on this side or this side, you would simply need to go back in and just work that a little bit more. So there is our jacket. I am just going to wiggle this a little bit to loosen it up. Now I'm going to take my bone folder. We're going to go around the edges so that we can give this a nice professional look. Like that. So now I can take this and we can put it to the side because we need to make our box. Alright, so now we need to make the box, and I am using the 88-pound Red River paper. I'll have it linked in the description box below. I cut out a piece at 8.5 by 11, and I printed front and back. So I am going to cut out a piece that is 7 7/8 by 7 3/4. And then we're going to score at 1 and at 2 on all 4 sides. So that's 1 and 2 on all 4 sides. 1 and 2. So then we're going to fold and burnish all of our scores. And guys, if you have a favorite paper that you like to use, keep using your paper. You don't have to use the papers that I'm using. Okay, so now we're going to have 3 corner pieces that we need to get rid of on all 4 sides. So we are going to go up to the 2nd score mark and cut straight down to free that. And then we can angle in here, turn it, angle to remove these 2 pieces, and then we can remove this piece. I'm also going to angle here just a little bit. And we do this on all 4 sides. So we're going to go up to the 2nd score mark, which is right there. There's an intersection. You go to the intersection and you drag straight down the middle of the score mark that you made. Then you can angle in here. You can angle angle here to remove that and reduce. I'm also going to angle this piece as well as this piece. Now let's turn it around on this side and we do the same thing. So we go up to that second score mark, cut straight down the middle, we angle, 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 and then we can reduce. Let's do the same thing over here. Go to the second score mark, cut straight down. Let's go ahead and angle. Angle here, angle here, and reduce. And then on these here, we're going to angle in just a little bit because that just makes it easier to do the fold over that we'll be doing. So I'm going to use my Reptile adhesive to put my box together. Y'all, it's getting cold and Reptile will not be shipping during months in which there might be the possibility of freezing temperatures. So go ahead and place that order for your Reptile adhesive so that when the colder months do come, we can keep crafting together because you will have your Reptile adhesive. So I placed it on the tab. I am just going to smush it around a little bit. And I want to make sure that everything is nice and even. I'll go ahead and go in and get that stuck. Then I'll do the same thing here. I'm going to smush it around to make sure that everything is nice and even. So now we're going to take these two. We'll add our glue right there. I'll just take it, smush it around just a little bit. Make sure everything is nice, tight, and crisp. We'll go in and get that stuck. Do the same thing over here. Just making sure that we have nice, tight, crisp corners. So now I'm going to bend these backwards just a little bit because we're going to add glue on all four of them. And so now we just need to fold over and get these stuck. So I'll just go in and start working my stick. I'll have to go back in a minute and just firm everything up with the stick. But we do want to make sure that we get everything nice and stuck. And then I'll go around the top and just smooth everything out. Bring in my box. Now one side of the box will be 1/8 of an inch longer than the other side. And that is because we want to make sure that we don't have too much space left here in the front. This is the shorter side. And if I put it in like this, then you'll see all of that space. But when we add that extra 1/8 of an inch to the side of our box, you can see that it's nice and even on all three sides. So when you're placing down your box, you'll have a 3 7/8 inch side, and you will have a 3 3/4 inch side. The 3 7/8 inch side is what should go in like this. So now I'm just going to take my glue and add my glue to the bottom of the box. Making sure that I get a nice coating of glue because I want to make sure that this sticks. And now I'm going to take this with the 3 7/8 inch side this way. We're just going to put it in. And I want to make sure that it's even on all three sides, and I want to make sure that it is hitting the back of the box. So let's go ahead and get this in. Push that back. I'll go ahead and use my bone folder to get into those corners and get everything nice and stuck, as well as the inside. I can close that, and now you're able to see that we have a very nice fitting box. So I like to take glue, and I'm just going to glue this part to the back. Now you don't have to do this. If you want to have it so that your lid just opens and goes back, you can. I like to have mine sit up just a little bit more. So I'm going to take this and we just bring it up. And I'm going to get this nice and stuck. And I'll go in and just really work my glue. And there is my box. We just need to let it dry for a moment. Okay, so my box is pretty dry, and you can see how well it looks all the way around. Now, one thing that I like to do with the box is to make sure that the lid is going to stay flat, I will take something heavy, such as this oval paper punch, and I'll put it down, and I normally leave it overnight so that the lid of the box can get conditioned to being as flat as you want it. But that is how I do it. Now you can make a belly band for this if you want. I really don't want to because I like how cute that is. So I am just going to open this so that you can see there's the inside of our mini box. And it really is designed to hold teas. You can even drop in a pack of 2 of those little honeys that I used on the project before. Then we close it. I'll let that sit, and then we'll have a beautiful gift ready to give. I'll probably tie it off with some ribbon or some twine just to add to that cuteness factor. But it's so easy. Here's the first box that I made, and I tweaked it just a little bit because it was a little smaller than I wanted. This was 3.5 by 3.5, and this is 4 by 4. So you get a little bit more interior room on this one than you did on that one. And I can just put that on and hold them both down at the same time. So if you want to see this being made so that it will hold some of the coffee pods, leave me a comment below and let me know. You can simply just say pods, please, if you want, and I'll know exactly what it is you're talking about, and I'll make this in a smaller size that it will hold at least 4 of the mini pods. So just leave me that comment. But if you do want to be able to make a box 4 by 4, it is on my website. When I make the pod box, I'll also be using the 4 by 4 measurements for the top and the bottom. The only thing I'll be adjusting is the depth of the spine. So if you're interested in making a pod box at some point, go ahead, check out the website. You might want to order those papers. If not, use the papers that you have. You chose them for a reason, so obviously you like them. Go ahead and use them. But I hope that you have enjoyed this super sweet way that we can make an individualized box for a few packets of tea as well as some honey. If you have enjoyed this video, and I hope that you have, please hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, all day, every day, this is what we do, and this is how we do it. And y'all, I would love to have you subscribe, so please hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you'll know when I upload a new video. As always, my beautiful friends, please be safe, be kind, and be the reason someone smiles today. Happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.